Hi guys, welcome to the channel. I pray that you're blessed and that everyone around you is blessed as well. I'm Tina from Tina Wonderfully Made. If you are new, welcome to the Wonderfully Made family. We talk faith, family, and fiction here. So don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss anything. And we can chit chat. If you're returning, welcome back.
Welcome to Tina Wonderfully Made.
It is not officially summer, but it's feeling like summer vibes here in Michigan. And she finally got her life together. I don't know if she said a few prayers. I don't know if she talked to someone about her issues. But Michigan has got her life together and it's starting to warm up outside. The sun is out. I am excited. I'm going to do a lot more reading this summer outside and I am here for it. So with that being said, if you follow me over on Instagram, you will see that I put a couple polls up last week. I don't know. And I said, I need your help picking my TBR for June. So I picked some books that I want to read, but I needed your help to narrow it down. And you guys came through. If you do follow me on Instagram, thank you. If you don't, go and follow me. The info's in the description, all that fun stuff. So the first category was a hardcover. I picked two off of my shelf because I rarely gravitate towards hardcovers. They're just not, I don't know. So the first one was Haven't Killed in Years by Amy Green. This one is talking about this girl. She finds out her dad was like a big time serial killer, and then it's saying at the end of the synopsis like the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, so sounds juicy. The other one was No One Can Know by Kate Alice Marshall. And this one is talking about these sisters that left their home and they hadn't returned, and then like one of them loses her job, or the husband loses their job and she's pregnant and stuff, and so she goes back to the home that they grew up in, and it's because their parents were murdered there. So we'll see which one was chosen. So let's put up the poll, and it was No One Can Know by Kate Alice Marshall. I'm excited for this one. Now that I read a little bit of the synopsis, I'm like, okay, that sounds crazy. Anyways, we're going to read that one. That's number one on our list. We are also going to pick a book from our 12 books for 26. And those, if you're new here, are books that I picked off of my shelf that I really want to read, like for sure this year. But you know how things change. My vibe's different, but these were like, I definitely want to get to them this year. And so we've been picking a book every month off of that little TBR, and so we're gonna do that at the end. But let's see what the next category was. Now these two, I haven't read anything by this author, but he's a big time author and people have been raving about his books. I especially love when KK reads his books. Like if you know KK, you know that she will hype about these books, and I will leave her info in the description. Love her down. Anyways, so I was just like, I'm gonna pick between these two books, but they both sound really good, so I needed your guys' help. So the first one was The House Across the Lake, Riley Sager, of course. It just says be careful what you watch for, so that one sounds like it has some drama. And the last one is The Last Time I Lied, also by Riley Sager. It says 2 truths and 1 lie, so, or two truths and a lie. So we'll put up the poll and we'll see that it was The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. This one is talking about these friends that go to this camp called Camp Nightingale, and one of them ends up seeing, it says that the night that Emma sleepily watched the others sneak out, and then she doesn't see them anymore. That was the last time. And so this sounds really good. I probably should have added this to my camping analog bag, but I have some other ones that I want to take with me, so this will be perfect for June since a lot of people are going camping in the month of June and July, all those warmer months. So I'm excited to read that one. Now the next category, I have 4 books on there because I couldn't narrow them down. So the first one was All Good People Here by Ashley Flowers. This one just says, what are your neighbors capable of when they think no one is watching? That sounds crazy. The next one was People Like Her by Ellery Lloyd. And this one just says it's breathtakingly fast, brilliantly original by Claire McIntosh. So I don't know what that's talking about. And then this one is The Perfect Strangers by Megan Miranda. I have not read a Megan Miranda book yet. I don't think. This one says everyone in this town has something to hide. That sounds crazy. And the last one was One of Us is Dead by Geneva Rose. Have not read a Geneva Rose book in a while. So out of these, let's put up the poll and see which one is the winner. And it is One of Us is Dead. So this one is saying, meet the women of Bookhead, a place of expensive cars, huge houses, and competitive friendships. So there is like 3 or 4 little paragraphs about the 4 friends. So I'm not going to read all that, but I'm excited to read a Geneva Rose book. It's been a minute. And the last one, of course you can't go into summer without a summer read, or like a summer romance read, I should say. And so I picked these 2 off because the one I just finished the other day was part of my 12-hour challenge. If you have not watched it, go watch it. Please go watch it. I had fun, but I can't do that again. I can't do that again. So the first one was A Love Like the Sun by Riz Nielsen. And I've had this on my TBR a couple times since last summer. I just never get to it. So we'll see if this is a winner. It just says just for one summer. We'll see. We'll see what it's about. And then the other one is That Summer by Jennifer Weiner. Have not read anything by her either, so we'll see. Just says this twisty novel about female friendship will make the hours fly by, and that was by Good Housekeeping. So we'll put up the poll and see that A Love Like the Sun was the winner. I'm actually excited about this one. First of all, the cover, I always say, is so pretty. Like, I can just look at this cover, it just makes me smile, but this could be like the most heart-wrenching book ever. Because it says they were best friends since childhood. So I feel like it's gonna be a second chance romance or something. I don't know, but I'm excited to read it because this, and I'm probably gonna start with this one first since it's been on my TBR the longest. Now, let's try and figure out what we want to read from our list of, let me fix these first because they're all out of whack. These are the books left from our 12 of 26, and we'll go through them one by one. The first one is The Things We Leave Unfinished by Rebecca Yarros. I did not too long ago read the last letter, and oh my gosh. So this might be like a contender, excuse me. And then this one is Tell Me What You Did by Carter Wilson. This is a thick one, but I don't know. I feel like we have a whole lot of thrillers, so we'll see if any of them catch my eye. This one is Night Crawling by Layla Motley. I've had this on my TBR for a very long time as well, and I've heard great things about it. It's supposed to be like a very emotional story about a sister that has to step up to take care of her brother and the neighbor kid, and she has to do like some things that just to survive. So do we want a Kristen Hanna book on the June TBR? And I have Homefront, but I feel like this is giving read it in September because it has to do with like the war and stuff. It has to do with a war. I don't know. So we'll save those, or we'll see. I don't know. I still haven't decided. Now I have some hardcovers. I have I'm Glad My Mom Died, by Jeanette McCurdy. I'm Glad My Mother Died by This one I know I'm not going to pick. Only because June is my mom's birth month. And if you know, she did pass away almost 5 years ago. So I feel like this would be weird to read in June. So this one is definitely a no. So that was easy. The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. Since we already have a Geneva Rose book on the list for June, I feel like this one will probably also be a no. I've been wanting to read this though for a very long time. Just the covers are cool. And then, do we want to read a Frida? Frida is always good. She's very quick. This is a very short book, and I've heard mixed things about this, but I don't know. Cause like I said, we have some thrillers already, so I am feeling like out of all those, the one that I'm really gravitating towards is The Things We Leave Unfinished, because I do need a tearjerker. And I don't know if any of the books that we already picked are tearjerkers. So this one is talking about Georgia, and she's starting over because she was going through this very bad breakup or marriage. And so she goes to her great-grandmother's estate, and she runs into this guy that, I don't know, she says he's an arrogant person and as he is in interviews, and she's like, absolutely not, because he's also, he writes love stories. I don't know. So we shall see what this one's about. So this is the one I'm going to pick for my 12 of 26. Now, let me talk to you about what I just finished reading, and just because it goes with the vibe of what we're doing here since summer's approaching. And it's One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune, or Fortune, however you want to say it. Tomato. Either way, she's a good author. I, however, was not a fan of all the smutty sections towards the end. It was it felt like every time they got together, something happened. Whether it was just a very intense making out or, anyways. I listened to the audiobook while reading the book, and when I was listening to the audiobook last night, because I was also playing a little Animal Crossing, I had to keep skipping. So I missed probably a good hour of the book because I just had to keep here and there. It wasn't in one span, but every so often I would have to skip. But yeah, that's the only reason why I gave it 3.75. However, the characters I loved. I loved Alice because she's just trying to find herself. She's turning 33 at the lake house with her grandmother, and she's just trying to find herself. I was here when I was 17. Now that I'm 33, what do I have going? So she makes this list, or she remembers this list and finds it, and she was that was when I was 17. I'm 33. None of these things matter. Then she meets Charlie, which he lives across the lake, and she remembers seeing him when they were young teenagers. And he ends up saying, we're going to do those things on the list, whether you're 17 or 33. And so he is they're both, but the thing that got me, they didn't know what they wanted. They didn't know if they wanted each other, because when they were with each other, they were there and they wanted to be with each other. But then when things started getting, heavier emotionally, they're yeah, we can't. Especially Charlie. Something happens to Charlie at towards the end, and I feel like that's why he kept saying, no, I don't want to be in a relationship or whatever. I don't know. And then the grandma, star of the show. She was the star of the show. I loved her. She was the sidekick. She was the hype man. She was funny. She had her own little side plot going, her own little side story. And so just when the grandma would come up, it like she would have me cracking up. So 3.75 only because of the smut and then the back and forth feelings. Like, do I like her? Do I like him? Do we commit? Do we not? Like, it was throughout the whole book, and I'm like, I don't mind like a slow burn, and I feel like that's what it was. But just the back and forth was like, just hate each other till the end. That's what I would have loved. But yeah, no. Anyways, I do recommend it though. Like, if you have not read it, this would be a good summer read, especially if you're going to a beach house or the lake or on a vacation. Definitely take this book. I do have another Carly Fortune book on my list that I'm going to be putting in my analog bag for our camping trip that my husband and I are going on. And so I can't wait to talk about that with you guys. Anyways, let's wrap it up. With all that being said, I hope you guys have a great summer. Tell me what you're reading, what you're looking forward to. Let's talk in the comments. I love when you guys communicate and comment and stuff, because if we're family. So always remember that you're fearfully and wonderfully made. Talk to you later. Bye.